Introducing Passport Bros, your ultimate travel companion. Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just a click away. And here's the cherry on top. With Passport Bros, you can make money while exploring new places. Turn your passion for travel into a source of income, right from your mobile device. So, what are you waiting for? Download Passport Bros now, share your journey, connect with fellow explorers, and let the adventure begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
And we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man BMT in the house. Hopefully everything's going well with the family. You know, there's a lot going on right now, not only in the States, but just worldwide. But welcome to the show. We got a pretty important topic to talk about today. This is one of the most discussed topics within the Passport Bros community. We also did a vote on this poll to get your guys' opinions. Should you bring her back to the States? All right. Big topic. You know, we're going to discuss this. We got some pros and some cons. All right. And this is coming off the story of the young man that went missing temporarily. Luckily, he was found. We're going to play the video of that as well. Luckily, he was found. Going back to the Dominican Republic to reach out to her family to see if they could salvage their marriage. Now, things seemed to go awry once she got to the United States. And this is kind of a big thing. We call it the green card hustle, especially in the Dominican Republic. As you guys know, the Dominican Republic is very close to the United States. So a lot of our dysfunctional culture bleeds into their society, unfortunately. So that's one of them places where if you are a passport bro and you are dating a Dominican woman, you need to be on high alert. Just as you know, you definitely need to be on high alert. Even myself was almost finessed out there. I wasn't finessed, but I definitely picked up on some of the red flags when I was dating out there as well. It's not a whole bunch of women trying to go to the States. I would say it's about 50-50, especially in San Domingo. But we're going to definitely discuss that. All right. Let's see who's all in here on the late night tap in. Shout out to my man, the great pretender, the great pre-order. All right. Shout out my man, Kevin Johnson, Global Push, always tapping into the building. What's good with you, brother? What's good with you? Y'all very opinionated on this subject. We already got 25 in the room, guys. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button for this guy. All right. Wow. Okay. So Kevin Johnson Global Push says, I married a non-American woman who got her citizenship after our divorce. The only good thing that came from that, hold on, where was that? The only good thing that came from that is that she didn't want spousal support. Okay. I got my man Drew in the building. What's going on, Drew? He says, let's be honest, many of the men traveling can't afford to support a grown woman back in America that is not working. They should remain abroad where they can be him. Okay. Charles Drake's in the building says, absolutely not. She will be homesick of her culture, food, language. She will leave you for someone from her tribe. Okay, that's really big. The immigration paperwork and the cost is not worth it. All right. So you guys are pretty opinionated on this. All right. All right. Okay, Charles. Charles really opinionated on this. All right. Droby now says, salute BMT. Back to the States. Diego says, hail to the no. I believe Diego is of Spanish descent. He must be a Latino brother. He says, hail to the no. Travel Lover says, salute BMT. You've been missing in these YouTube live streams. What's happening, brother? I've been dropping content, man. We've been doing a lot of reactions lately. Kevin Romes in a bit. What up, Kevin Romes? He's also on the Passport Bros app. Shout out to you, Kevin. Gabriel Gatson says, I think it's a question that one has to be pondered, very careful, needs to be well thought out. Yeah, we're going to do a pros and the cons, all right? We're definitely going to do a chart about pros and cons. And I want you guys' opinions. This is going to be pretty much a long show, so we might do an open panel as well. I really want your guys' experiences if you have brought a woman back to the States or if you just decided to marry her and stay in her home country. All right, I want you to get your guys' experiences. Now, I have known guys to, bring women from Brazil and stuff like that, and they be married 20, 30 years. Okay, so I have seen that as well. But on the flip side, I believe the marriage rate for, overseas marriages and everything in the States is about the same. It's going at the same divorce rate, which is almost about 50%. So it's big. It's like a half, chance that she gets to the States, she gets a green card, she adjusts her status, right? It's something called AOS, adjustment of status. And she just goes and say, okay, I got my green card now. I want to be single. I'm going to start proceedings for divorce. So that's the thing. That's definitely a thing. And this happens to the ladies as well. All right. Shout out to my man, Brandon Clark. What up, Ronan? Somebody said, what's my opinion on this? What would you do? It depends on the woman. It really depends on how solid and how long we've been together. I don't really plan on living in America like that anyway, so I always make it established that I don't live in the United States. I consider myself to be a global citizen, and I told this to the woman that I was in a situationship with that in the DR, and she wanted to go to America. It was really funny because, we'll be, having a nice little outing or something like that. And maybe the next day or so, that would always kind of come up. Like, I want to go to America. I'm not making any money here. I got to make more money in America. Even though the job she did have in America was at McDonald's, and she was in America. But that's the real big thing out there in the Dominican Republic, man, because they got family members and friends up in Boston, up in New Jersey, and they all trying to get there by any means necessary. She even told me, I was like, well, what's your plans for getting to America? She said, oh, I gotta get married. And I'm like, interesting. So it's definitely a thing out there. If you're dating the Dominican Republic, just see what her intention is, in my opinion. Now, she has a good job because a lot of those jobs don't necessarily transfer back to the States. So she's a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer. And keep in mind, it's not difficult to be a lawyer. It's not like they do in the States. So she's telling you she's a lawyer and everything. Almost anybody can be a lawyer with DR. But a lot of those jobs, professional jobs, they might not want to leave. They're making decent money in the DR. Now, talking specifically the DR on this one, because this is what the story is about. The brother Jason who got green card hustle and vanished. I think it was a broken heart, in my opinion. But before we get to that, before we get to the main gist of the show, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm going to answer your questions and your super chats in a moment. I want to say rest in peace to this young lady. This is a story that went viral. Real quick, let me play this real quick, man. This is really sad. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay. Where's she at? Where's that video? Hold on. That's the other clip. Hold on. Okay. All right. So, stranded Brazilian dancer passes away before her rescue. Right. It's a real sad story coming out of Indonesia. Unfortunately, a young lady, Juliana Marin, she was a Brazilian. She passed away from falling in a volcano. Now, apparently, you can go ahead and play the video, but apparently her tour group left her. I got a lot to say about that in the back end of this video. Let me play this real quick.
A 26-year-old Brazilian woman, Juliana Marins, has died after falling nearly 1,000 feet into the crater of Mount Rinjani, an active volcano in Indonesia. Marins, a publicist and pole dancer from Rio de Janeiro, was trekking with a tour group when she reportedly became fatigued. Left to rest by her guide, she was later found missing. She was eventually spotted by tourists, injured and trapped without food or shelter. Rescue teams were dispatched, but harsh conditions delayed the mission. By the time they reached her days later, she had died from her injuries and exposure. Marins had been solo traveling across Asia since February, sharing her journey online. Her death has sparked grief and questions around the rescue response.
All right. So this is, like I said, a very sad story. This young lady was only 26 years old. She was traveling throughout Southeast Asia. She was a huge Instagram influencer, basically, with the pole dance and all that down. Very, very beautiful young lady. This is a very sad story, but I want to pull some things up that I found out. Here we go. So this is like her last video right here. Now, I want you guys to see the conditions because, yeah, unfortunately, this guy right here, this tour guide, she said she was fatigued. And this is the tour group right here. I'm just going to show you a second. All right, so that's her. As you can see, that's a pretty large tour group right there. All right, now she doesn't know these aren't her friends or anything. Why they left her, I know she's fatigued. I'm pretty sure they left her at a safe camp zone. I guess the buddy system is just not, what they're doing out there, especially it's a volcano. So I would have paired everything up, especially anybody that travels solo. Most of these people are going to be couples and stuff like that who start traveling. I'm going to Indonesia to look at a volcano soon myself. So I looked at the packages. It is a long walk. You can definitely get tired up to the volcano. Of course, they're not having cars near active volcano or anything like that. So it's a long hike. So she definitely could have gotten a little tired. Why they decided to leave her, not at least with one person, I don't understand. I get that maybe the other people were ready to leave. They had been out there for a while. But still, that's got to be dangerous to be sitting on the side of a volcano by yourself when you're tired. I'm not sure why they take about a 30-minute break. I don't understand that. And maybe they should have two tour guides instead of just one, just in case, people get tired because it is a long walk. Leave that tour guide behind. But I want to show you guys this real quick. And we're going to get to the Justice Show in a moment. I want to show you guys this real quick. Rest in peace, her. That's a tour guide right there. But this is the last video she took. All right, this is the last video she took.
The view is amazing.
All right, so I want you guys to see the conditions, okay? This is her last video.
Now we are in camp base, yeah, and the view is amazing. Yeah, you can was
So totally cloudy around there, and that's why the helicopter probably couldn't get to her. They used drones and everything. The conditions were, it's a volcano. It's an active volcano at that. I mean, just look at the conditions around.
So worth it. So worth it.
Yeah, we did it for the view, so I'm glad.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Now we are in.
All right. So keep in mind, like I said before, like she's pretty much traveling solo. These people she probably just met. A very sad situation, but I want to show you guys. Oh, you guys can't see the video? Hold on, let me see. How can't you guys see the video? I can see the video. Let me know if you guys can see the video. Yeah, she basically fell into a volcano, Paul. Press 1 if you guys can see the video, man, because they're saying they can't see the video. Do me a favor, hit 1. Yeah, Bruce M2. Yeah, nobody should leave you behind on any tour. I've been on plenty of tours too. Yeah, you walk a lot. You know, when I was in Brazil. So you guys can see the video. Press one if you guys can see the video. Before I play it again. So we can see it now. We missed the whole story video. Okay, here we go. Let me play the video again.
Now we are in Campeche, yeah, and the view is amazing. Yeah, you can totally, you can. Oh, it was so worth it, so worth it.
Yeah, we did it for the view, so I'm glad.
Amazing, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Now we are in.
Okay, so let me play the video one more for you guys. So y'all couldn't see the actual news story video. Let me play that clip again. All right, so I'm gonna play this news clip again of Juliana. This is the news story coming from the Daily Mail.
A 26-year-old Brazilian woman, Juliana Marins, has died after falling nearly 1,000 feet into the crater of Mount Rinjani, an active volcano in Indonesia. Marins, a publicist and pole dancer from Rio de Janeiro, was trekking with a tour group when she reportedly became fatigued. Left to rest by her guide, she was later found missing. She was eventually spotted by tourists, injured and trapped without food or shelter. Rescue teams were dispatched, but harsh conditions delayed the mission.
So as you can see, it's too cloudy to fly a helicopter above her. That's the tour guide right there.
By the time they reached her days later, she had died from her injuries and exposure. Marins had been solo traveling across Asia since February, sharing her journey online. Her death has sparked grief and questions around the rescue response.
All right, so I think it's pretty cut and dry. They should have left. In a situation like that, especially on the side of a volcano, they should definitely use a buddy system. But I want to point something out. So this is what I think happened. This is just my conjecture from looking at her Instagram right here. So she had a very popular Instagram. She had she had 377,000 followers. But look at some of the pictures that she posts on her Instagram, right? Okay, let me see. So this is her Instagram right here. Okay. So she's one of those Instagram that takes kind of risque photos. Okay, as you can see the sides. This is not Photoshop or anything like that. This is actually in Indonesia. You can see the sides. Those, they do have pictures where they look more dangerous than they are. Of course, they got the pictures of the rock in Rio de Janeiro when you're only a few feet off the ground. Actually, but I actually think that you can look at the sides of it, and you can see it's a pretty dangerous area to be in on that photo. All right, this is one of the photos that she took not too long, but that was in April. All right, now here's another photo. Here's another photo. All right, now you can see around that curve right there, around that bend, if a car was coming, she had to get up fairly quickly. What I think, in my opinion, was, she possibly could have been trying to take a selfie by the edge of the volcano or the edge of the crater. Probably, one of those selfies where you can see the background, and it's a possibility that she slipped in the volcano. She slipped in the crater, basically. That's what I think happened, because I'm pretty sure that a tour guide wouldn't leave her in a dangerous area. If he's saying, hey, let me take these people down, we'll come back and get you, you just get some rest. So I'm pretty sure he didn't leave her on the side of the volcano or the side of the crater. I'm assuming that either she went to the bathroom, and it's low conditions, it's really cloudy conditions out there. She probably couldn't see. Possibly either she was trying to go to the bathroom or something, or she just, maybe she was trying to find out, walk down closer herself, so the tour guide would have to walk so far back to get her. Who knows? But it's really unfortunate that she didn't have like a buddy with her or something to kind of, reason with her and say, hey, stay in this general area. We're on the side of a volcano. Things crumble. Anything could happen. It's an active volcano. This is an active volcano. And she walked from that safe area, in my opinion, whether she was trying to get further to the group or trying to find her way herself, or she could have been trying to take a selfie. All right. That's just my opinion. Yeah, but rest in peace to her. She was a beautiful young lady out there in Brazil. Rest in peace to her. Rest in peace. Women travel experiences are definitely much different. Not to say this can happen to a man, but if I'm on an active side of a volcano and I'm with a tour group and I'm with a guy that knows the volcano, I'm going to just kind of try to push it through. All right. At least get down low enough to where, I'm close enough, away from any type of danger, away from the crater. You see what I'm saying? So rest in peace, though. Rest in peace. I know the family's pretty much going to be going through it. What a way to kind of lose your family member. Rest in peace, though. All right. Kevin Rome said, yeah, something was off with that story. Some of that group wasn't prepared. Yeah, you can go on these volcano trips out there in Indonesia. I think it's like a couple of $100. They provide you with the hotel and everything. You stop near the I want to say the bottom of the volcano, and very far away. And it's a pretty long hike. Because of course, they don't want cars and anything near an active volcano. So it's a pretty long hike. So I'm pretty sure she might have been fatigued or tired. But she seems like she was in shape too. But rest in peace to her. Okay. So let me before we get to the story, we also got a story, fellas. Let me show this real quick. I thought this was interesting. This is shout out to these sisters, they're out here in Thailand. Oh, let me play this real quick.
But it's time to move on.
Okay. And guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. We almost got 100 in the room. So this young lady out here, she lives in Bangkok. She has a dope YouTube channel. I'll post a link. You guys can definitely check her out. But she definitely interviews sisters on their experiences in Thailand. And all the sisters are pretty much saying the same thing. Now, the funny thing about this is in the comment section, she said the passport bros are triggered and coming for them and everything. And I didn't see too many negative comments. For some odd reason, I don't know why women, when guys speak the truth in the comment section, saying things like, okay, your experience is going to be much different than the guy's experience, that they actually get upset. Because we all know it's kind of about how you make a woman feel. So we understand that when you're talking to them, it's like you're not talking as factual as you would to another male, because you just got to kind of interpret it to make them not feel a certain way. So she's saying in the comment section that the passport bros were coming at her for this interview, but let's just tap in to see her experience real quick.
For you? No, definitely not. I experienced Thailand, but it's time to move on.
Okay, well, you're starting out strong.
Like they call it the land of smiles. The land of fake smiles. No. Girl, to blend in. I don't like to stand out. And
you like to blend in, but you came to Southeast Asia.
Exactly.
You have to listen to your body.
You definitely stand out when you're a black person in Southeast Asia. Trust me. Even though they have darker skinned ties as well, you definitely stand out.
Like, even if it's working for everybody around you, if you feel like it's not working for you, you need to listen to your body and trust your intuition and go ahead and take that next step. Because just be at a standstill right now, but it's okay. Rest if you must, but don't quit.
Yeah, definitely.
And get energy.
Period. Follow my TikTok or not. I don't care.
Ooh.
Okay, so there was, she was pretty much complaining about, Thailand and, the people and some of the awkward stares. But we know what the real saying. This is the previous interview she did as well. Hold on, this is the previous interview. Let me make sure you see what she did.
So for me,
and guys, like I say, she actually has a pretty dope channel. So guys, I'll post a link in a moment. If you guys want to follow her, they're out there in Bangkok, and it's a big sisters in Bangkok group as well. If you ever met someone, they're pretty cool. They're very, very cool. They're gonna be thirsty as hell for a brother. Trust me. But here's what she has to say.
Get into the tea. Let's get into the tea. So how is it dating as a black woman living abroad?
So for me, I feel like it kind of hasn't been like favorable. In the beginning, it wasn't really favorable because I want to be with my people. I want to be with a chocolate man. Oh, wait, let me not say chocolate. I want to be with a black man. It don't matter, light skin or dark skin for me. But I do want to be with someone of my culture. So I feel like I'm kind of at a disadvantage because a lot of the black men that do move to Thailand, they're moving here for the Thai women for various reasons, but they're moving here to go into the Asian persuasion, you know? They're not really checking for the sisters.
Asian love.
They're not really checking for the sisters. So I would say that does put me at a disadvantage. But again, that's only because I am, boxing myself off to only dating my people.
All right, so that's just some of their dating experience. Let's get to super chat in a moment. Shout out to my man Absum Adu for the first super chat of the stream. Says BNG salute. Are you going to bring wifey to the U.S.? Yeah, I'll bring her to the U.S. to visit. I'll definitely bring her to the U.S. to visit the fam. All right. So let's get right to the chart, family. Let's get right to the chart. Let's get to the gist of the show. All right. Now, this was the poll. So I see a lot of guys in the comment section saying, don't bring her back to the States. But look, as you can see, it says, should passport bros bring their women back to the USA? Okay, this is going to be an interesting panel. You know what? I'm going to start dropping a link soon. Let me drop a link soon. Guys, do me a favor and make sure to cam up. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link now so you guys can maybe pile up. Get your time to get prepared. All right. So I'll go ahead and drop a link. So we got, should passport bros bring their women back to the USA? You got 32% says yes. All right. 32% says yes. Let me move that. And 68% says no. So you got a nice size percentage of men that would definitely bring their women back to the United States. 32%. That's pretty heavy. Me personally, I don't necessarily recommend it, especially if you're somewhere in the Caribbean, in Latin America, especially. That's where you pretty much get that the most, but you got to kind of notate those red flags. Like I said, I prefer to live overseas in general, so there is no going back to the States. I make that blatantly clear in the beginning of dating within a relationship. But yeah, you got 32% that says yes, they would like to bring their lady back to the States. Okay. Top Boss Big Nation says in the DR, a gringo baby is just another opportunity to scam. All Dominican chef, tour guides, and conserje must stay in the DR. Okay, that's a little harsh. That's a little harsh, Top Boss Big Nation. Boss done dollar. A lot of bosses in here today. Judge women are waiting for you to bring her back to the USA so they can destroy the whole thing. That's part of one of the cons. That's definitely part of one of the cons. Is bringing your woman. I'll never forget when Paige Jackson, where he said, I think he married a Japanese woman, and everything was good until he brought her around the women in his family. And that's when they got divorced a couple of years later. She started acting Americanized, basically. And he said he would never do that again. So there's definitely some truth to that. It is definitely some 100% truth to that. All right. So let's go ahead. Hold on. Let me move this on the screen. And let me just give you guys what happened to my man here.
Every day and many times a day, especially after.
Hold on.
He likes to talk. He likes to tell me what he's doing, send me videos of where he's going.
Marcus Forrester says he and his son Jason, 38, voice texted each other every day and many times a day, especially after Jason moved from Beltsville, Maryland to Miami, Florida. Frequent trips to the Dominican Republic led to love and then marriage to a woman Jason met there.
He met the parents and so on. They got married in DR, and he started making arrangements to get her to come here legally. And that did happen. She got a visa.
Forrester says Jason and his new bride struggled a bit as they transitioned from a long-distance relationship to sharing a home. Then something unexpected and shocking happened.
One day he came back from work and the apartment was cleaned out. She left and disappeared.
Cold, bro. Cold. Cold. That's ice cold. That man went to work. She came home. He came home, bro. And all her stuff is gone. And she gave him with it. She ghosted him, bro. She ghosted him.
Forrester says his son was heartbroken when his wife refused to return his calls, then blocked him. He says Jason decided to fly to the Dominican Republic to talk with her family, hoping they would help convince her to return to the marriage. But after the phone call from the airport 2 weeks ago, Marcus Forrester says no one, not his family or friends, has heard from Jason.
Okay, so just an update, they did find him. He was actually back in the States. In my opinion, the guy was just severely heartbroken. If you guys, most of you in the chat, have had that heartbroken, so you know how I feel. You married her, you brought her to the States. He's probably very embarrassed. And people deal with, especially men, we deal with heartbreak all a little differently. I know some cats can't eat. You're just not right in the head. And he took the time to, marry her, bring her to the States. He probably had a good wife. And for her to ghost him like that, that makes it even more painful. Like he's not even able to communicate with her. He's trying to talk to her family. That means it's complete cut off. More than likely, she had a Dominican lover either in the States or he got to the States. He got green card hustle, basically.
Calls to the Dominican embassy have produced no helpful information, he says.
We're just very, very concerned and hoping and praying that he shows up some way, somehow. But the reality of it is it could be even worse.
So basically, his dad reached out to the media, everybody, and said, "Hey, he's back. Basically, he's found." So me personally, I think he just was severely heartbroken. That's why, like I said before, man, if she's mentioning going to America or working in America, personally, man, that would be a super red flag. And I would just let it be known that, hey, I plan on moving to the Dominican Republic. I don't plan on, even if you don't really plan on moving to the Dominican Republic, man, I still would suggest to say that, because that would probably either end the relationship or alter the relationship right away when you convince her that, hey, either I don't live in America or don't plan on marrying me just to get to the United States. That's just my opinion. I think he was severely harmed. It's pretty messed up to come home from a long day of work and see all your shit gone. All right. Then on top of that, not even be able to communicate afterwards, after that. She had somebody else. Most women that do anything like that probably already had. And like somebody said in the comment section, a lot of these women will go back to their own culture of men where they're familiar. She probably could have had a man the whole time. More than likely, he even met her. Right? He probably met. They just big in the Dominican Republic. They real big on, saying that this is my cousin, this is my uncle or something. It'd be the whole time be their boyfriend. It's a different world out there, man. Poverty is really extreme. It's very real out there. So you just got to be aware of that. Apparently, Brandon, she took all the stuff. All right. What's going on with my man Felipe? He says, don't bring her back to the U.S. You must move there. The currency flip is what's pumping up your money. Don't do it. All right. Somebody TL says, that's why I'm trying to tell you guys to cam up, man. For comments like this. He says, got lost in pursuit with some mangoes and Presidente. He could have. Everybody get over a broken heart differently. All right. Bruce M2 says another American man had the same story. He came home and it was empty. You know what's funny, man? My dad's best friend actually married a Brazilian woman. And, he brought her back to the States. I remember my dad always told me that he never can go to his friend's house. His friend basically doesn't allow any company to come to their house. So nobody actually really saw the Brazilian woman in person. It was just all photos, videos. Everybody know he got married and brought a Brazilian woman. I think he was like the ex-military or something like that. And as far as I know, they stayed married for like 20 something, 30 years, but nobody actually ever seen them. So maybe it's a strategy behind it. Maybe you keep them isolated. Maybe you move them out to the countryside and keep their circle small. You know, maybe that's it. Or maybe it's a strategy behind it. But apparently in this situation, and like Bruce said before, this is, you know, somebody else had a similar situation where they just made the complete cutoff. Okay? They just made the complete cutoff. All right, so let's see a few pros for keep. You know what? Let's start off with the negative. Let's start off with the negative first. Let's start off with the cons first. I want to start off with the cons first. Let's not go to the pros first. We'll say that for last. All right. Okay, so bring her to the States. What are the cons in bringing her to the States? If you guys want to add in the comment section or you want to pull up on the stream, let me know. We got 100 guys in the room right now. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button for me. Number one, Western influence. All right. The Western influence risk. We know this is big, especially if they're a little younger. Okay. Social media, friends, new Americanized friends, and culture may shift her mindset quickly. Now, keep in mind, this is not something I'm not. This is AI. This is AI saying this, guy. This is straight AI telling you that this is the big con. This is the number one con. It's the Western influence. You run a huge risk. All right. Number two, keep in mind, this is what AI is saying, not me. All right, guys, I want you guys to make comments in the comment section to see if you agree. All right, loss of feminine tradition, femininity and tradition. The same traits that made her attractive abroad may fade once she Americanizes. This is crazy that AI is saying this. AI is real. AI is real. All right. Number three on the cons of bringing her to the States. Legal exposure, all right? If things go wrong, she may use U.S. laws to her advantage, e.g. divorce or alimony. Hey, Brother Clark says, you know it's a bad idea when AI says don't do it. Right. Number four, the green card hustle. Listen, I did not put in all I asked AI to do was the pros and the cons to bring her to the state. This is hilarious. Even AI needs to explain that. I said the green card hustle. You won't always know if love is real until it's too late. All right. What up, Jay Clyde? What's good? I got my man Jay Clyde in the building. Shout out to you, man. All right. Columbia representing in the house. All right. Number five, dependency stress. You likely will be 100% responsible financially until she gets on her feet. All right. So those are just top five cons. I definitely agree with all of these. Okay. Like I say, maybe it's a way to do it. It's always, it's always a way to do something. But yeah, this is AI. This is the cons. All right. You say AI knows what a green card hustle is, man. Yeah, AI definitely knows. All right. Secrets to Success blog. I like that name, brother. I'm sure there are some success stories that bring to the U.S. I said it before, something absolute, but the unsuccessful stories outweigh those by far. The U.S. changes them no matter what countries they are from. Now, somebody mentioned, and we're going to get to that after we do our pros and cons. Somebody mentioned that things are getting harder under the Trump administration. That is absolutely 100% true. Okay, things have gotten much harder. They are really looking at, they want in-person interviews with the marriages. If they can see any type of fictitious activities of it being some type of green card hustle or any payments, they're really looking thoroughly to see if it is a genuine marriage. So it's definitely not easier now. We got 105 in the room. Guys, do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. Okay. All right. Now, what are some of the pros of keeping her overseas? Number one, you preserve cultural and values. You know what? This is not the one. Hold on. Before we get to that, let me see if we can. Before we get to that one. Okay, hold on. You know what? This is not the chart that I wanted because there were some pros to bringing them to the States. Let me see if I can find the pros. Hold on, fam. Give me one moment here. Because that's the pros. We all know there's some benefits for keeping them overseas. But there are some benefits. Let me see if I can find it to bring them to the States, actually. Let me see if that one's it. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. Give me one moment, family. Let me make sure. Okay, here we go. Because there are some pros. Okay. So bringing them to the States. Okay, here we go. Let's put this chart up for one moment. Hold on, family. Somebody said, good thing Trump is official. Yeah, I like Trump like that, man. You know what? I just had this chart. Let's see. Pull this chart, this new chart up. Okay, here we go. I think this is it right here, family. Now I know one of the pros was actually companionship. That was actually one of the pros to keeping them to bring them to the States. Of course, you're going to be closer to your partner, your love. Let me drop this chart down real quick. Romeo says, what's going on, Guerrero? He says, I'll give my 2 cents. Don't bring any woman back to the States unless you are operating in the States at an elite level. That might make it worse, actually. When you think about it, that might actually make it worse. My man said, no. I asked the audience if they like Trump. I don't do politics, brother. I asked the audience if they like Trump. I didn't say I like Trump. I just said, ask the audience. From a comment somebody said about Trump. All right, so it's Jay Clyde says a lot of folks screaming, don't bring them to the States, never even had sustained a relationship overseas. Okay, Jay Clyde. Jay Clyde always coming with the counter. All right. You know what? Let me see if I can just pull it. I'll just read it off to you guys. Okay, 84845. That's what right there. Let me see. Yeah, right there. Oh, I got too many images. That's why it's okay. My bad, family. Hold on. I got way too many images. That's why it's missing. So let me pull it up 1 second. Here we go. All right. Bring her to the States. Pros. Closer bond. Daily physical proximity builds emotional connection. So you'll get to spend more time with her. All right. That's a big one. If you only seen her once every 2-3 months, that's a big one. That's the main reason you bring her to the States, right? 2, legal marriage benefits. So there are some legal some benefits. Easier access to joint bank accounts, healthcare, spousal visas. Okay, so she can get better healthcare apparently. 3, better economic opportunities. She may be able to work, study, and help out financially. So that's a pro. She can make American money. Make sure you have a solid foundation. Number 4, family integration. These are also like cons to me personally. She can meet your family and be part of your life back home. That's a big one. Would you guys agree? All right. Number 5, more control. You can help her guide her adjustment to Western. All right. So those are some of the pros. I believe the biggest pro is pretty much companionship. All right. You get to see her full time. All right. You get to make sure that she doesn't have a little Pablo on the side, a little Rico somewhere out there in the DR. Trey Manuel says, BMT all paid for by you. That's some of the. I think the main one, because the rest of these could be looked at as cons, but the main one would be a closer bond. All right, because you want to see your lady. Definitely want to see your lady. All right. All right, so let's see some of the pros of keeping her overseas. All right. Number 1, preserve culture and values. She stays rooted in her traditional culture, which is a big thing. That's the pro of keeping her overseas, basically. 2, lower cost of living. This is a big one right here. AI good, man. AI definitely knows what they're talking about. Because I definitely know guys that pay their women's rent. $200, $300. So that's a thing. Life abroad is often more affordable for both of you. So if guys want to take care of their lady, it's a little bit more feasible to take care of them overseas in their home countries like Colombia and stuff like that, where it's a little cheaper. You know, they're outside of that poblado area, so their rent gonna be. I know a lot of guys that pay these girls rents, even though they don't live there. You know, they take care of the girl rent, basically their girlfriend. That's pretty much standard out there. All right. Number 3, less legal risk. No divorce courts, no alimony, no U.S. legal entanglements. Is AI on point or is AI on point? Number 4, mystique and excitement. Long distance relationships stay passionate and intentional. In some cases, I definitely agree. Especially if you go out there, once every 2-3 months. I think that's sustainable to a certain degree. Once a month would be the best, depending on how much you communicate. So I think that's very important. You don't want to be in a long distance relationship and just not be communicating with her on a daily basis. I think that's very, very important. All right. And number 5, keep in mind, this is AI. This isn't me saying this. Better leverage. You maintain higher value as a foreign provider. Okay. So those are some of the benefits of keeping her overseas. Anthony Southeast says, bring her back only if you have extended benefits like citizenship in her country, if in USA divorce. All right, you guys are going off. The Native American expat says, look, you can do whatever works for you, but I'm not moving her back to the States. Anthony Southeast says, like me, Filipino divorced in the U.S., still married in the Philippines, and my citizenship there is still intact. All right. So I get advantage of the Philippine lifestyle still because I'm Filipino. Trey May says, you have a bad chance of winning a lottery than doing this. All right. Romeo once again says, if you're operating at an elite level, then you'll always have all the leverage. Make sure you put all your assets in a trust to avoid any potential losses due to divorce. Okay, so Romeo he has a strategy. See, that's different. Like I said before, if you have a strategy, or a way you're going about it, maybe some fail safes, maybe some contingency plans, it might work out. Like I said before, my dad's best friend had a beautiful Brazilian wife. Nobody ever saw her. He didn't ever bring company over. All right, all you saw was photos. I remember seeing a photo of her, been like, damn, she with this dude, but he isolated her. All right, he probably isolated her. She probably there, cooking and cleaning and doing whatever. She probably doesn't have to work, go out. So it really depends on what, because maybe she escaped a bad situation in Brazil. Who knows? When they had a bunch of kids together, but as far as I know, they're still married 20-something years. So maybe having a plan, in mind, maybe seeing what her true intentions are. Okay, is she one of those women that doesn't really want to work? Is she one of the women that likes being provided for 100%? Is she like playing her role in the home? That makes a big difference. Is she going to America to want to work, so she can send money back to the family? That might be a big difference. It really depends on her intention, and you need to find out what her intention is. Yeah, he hit her. All we saw was pictures of her. And she was beautiful. She was gorgeous, bro. He was like a little, he wasn't like he was below normal looking fellow. I would say that, old gentleman, my dad's friend. But that's what it was. He pretty much isolated. He hit her. Nobody ever saw her in person. He wouldn't allow anybody to come to his house. I remember my dad always telling me that. I said, Dad, he's insecure. He's like, nah, son, you just young, you don't understand. I understand why he don't want nobody to come to his house to be around his woman. I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it. I would be a man's man. So I'm gonna have company bring the fellas over to watch a football game. I'm not gonna be worried that some dude's gonna take it. Hey, different stroke, different folks, right? All right, Jenna says 3 may be false. I've heard that DR got some shit where the chicken can still collect child from DR if the guy is American. Yeah, but I think it's still a maximum of like $200 a month. They can't do it by income, but they have. See, now this is the thing, and everything is into context. They didn't make this law in this state. It's by state as well, but they made this law in New Jersey basically because Dominican men were going to the States and not paying child support to the women that they left in the DR. So that law was actually there, that arrangement by New Jersey, because it goes state by state, because Dominican men wasn't sending money back. That's why they created it. Okay, Dill says, nah, I get it. Your boys will try to hurt us suddenly. Can't trust them. I get that part. I get that part of it too. I mean, it wouldn't work for me. I feel like I'm the man's man. I feel like I'm the alpha of my group. So I don't know, I bring fellas around. I wouldn't give a shit, but I get it. I totally get it. All right. She was very beautiful. She was like the first. As a matter of fact, I remember, because I had to be about 16 or 17 at the time. All right. Maybe in my early, yeah. I remember seeing a picture of her, and she was this bad, melanated Afro-Brazilian with the hair, and body, and everything, super in shape, looking like a samba dancer. And I remember like saying to myself, damn, that's how Brazilian women looking over there. I'm like, damn, she look good. I'm like, this, that's what gave me that thing about Brazil. I'm like, damn, that's how they look over there in Brazil. I'm like, damn, he got a bad chick ever. So you might be right. Maybe it's too much temptation. What up, the globe spinner? All right, so now what are some of the cons for keeping her overseas? All right, we got 107 in the room. Guys, do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. Distance challenge. Number one is distance challenges. Time zones, that's a big one, especially if you're in Asia. Travel costs and missed moments. This is big. This is a big con. These countries have hella holidays. Okay, there's going to be definitely moments where old Rico, old Pablo, old Juan gonna get up in your girl, possibly because everybody else is with their significant other. So if it's a holiday or a special event, it could be anything. But you're not there, and your presence is wanted. So that's a big one. Time zone is definitely a thing. If you're back in America and let's just say she's over in Asia somewhere, it's a big 12-hour time distance. So you might not be able to communicate as well. And of course, it costs to travel back and forth. You're trying to see your lady once every couple of months. It's a big difference if you're nearby, like I say, the DR or even Colombia. I know guys that go to Colombia to see their woman once a month. I ain't gonna mention no names. They might be in the chat, but I know guys that go see their ladies once a month in the DR and Colombia. Let's just put it that way. All right, number 2, visa and immigration hurdles. Visiting her country may come with rules or limitations. All right. 3 would be trust issues. Harder to monitor fidelity if you're not around. This is a big one. Man, AI is so important. So check that out. Trust issues. And we know a lot of women have their local lover. I call it the local lover. All right, that comes in and cleans the pipes. You know, she definitely knows who the provider of is in the relationship, but you're not there. And those sweet moments on the phone, you know, it's nice and everything, but you're not there. Right? You're not there. So that's the big one. You know, that's a con of keeping her overseas. Number 4, jealousy and resentment. She may feel frustrated you're not bringing her home. All right. So she might feel some resentment, and this is very true. This is very true. You know why? Because in the Dominican Republic, when I decided to tell her that, hey, I'm going to be visiting Atlanta to see my family during the holidays, she got highly upset, and I mean, she was angry that I was going back to the States, even for just temporary. You know, I never went back to DR either, but she was upset, wouldn't talk to me and everything, mad that I was going back to America without it, basically. So that's very true. She was super upset about it. Right, my woman that I was talking to in DR. She might be watching this video. She speaks perfect English, so she might pull up on the stream. I don't know. All right, number 5. Harder to build long-term life together. Kids, real estate, and careers are harder to align across borders. Okay, that could be true. I suggest having a plan. I think if you're dating a woman that's over, let's say 30, she kind of been around, she kind of knows about karma and all that stuff. I suggest, you can make it work. I still think you can make this work. Especially if she wants to live. Because a lot of these women nowadays, they don't want to be in America anyway. You know, America is expensive, it's crazy. This new Trump administration has changed everything, especially in Latin America, really all over the world for the most part. ICE is picking up everybody. So the dynamics of this has really changed. A lot of people are looking at America sideways, and the only reason they want to get to America and live in America is to make money. So in some cases, you have some you have some foreign women who do not want to really go to America. Now, you can play into this. She's mature, she's a little older, she's a little wiser. You know, she might be being 100% genuine, especially if you can see her once every 2-3 months. You know, that might build up the anticipation. You know, she might be being loyal to you physically. You be loyal to her, financially, basically. And maybe you can invest. You know, you have the guys that purchase apartments, guys that buy condos for their women and everything like that. So it could work. It could definitely work. I want to catch a super chat real quick about my man Boss Don Donna, top shotter in the building. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the super chat. I believe there are 3 levels: weekend warriors, vacationers, and expats. All right. There is no LDR. If you're an expat, you can entertain all options. This is 100% true. Expat is the ultimate goal. There is no relationship if you're not there. Now, Ralph Dundar, that's a big one that you just said. All right. That's the big one because a lot of guys will disagree with that. I've made that statement before. I tell guys all the time, I said, man, if you're already living here, you know, it's like, how often can you come and how long can you stay? Right. So I got friends that drive trucks. Right? They have girlfriends in Brazil. They run the road a specific time during the year. They stack up their bread. They don't have any large expenses in the States. They just run that road for 4, 5, 6 months, and then they stack it up and they go to Brazil. These guys are owner operators. They're making big bucks driving. They go to Brazil for 3 or 4 months. That could possibly work. All right, if you there and she knows that, okay, I got a man that's providing for me. She's anticipating you coming. Y'all have a schedule. That could possibly work, in my opinion. It's not optimal, but it could work. It really depends on the woman. Everything really depends on the woman. But yes, you're absolutely right. I appreciate the super chat. Expatting is the ultimate goal. Definitely don't really necessarily need to bring them back to the States, especially during this day and age. Okay. Hold on real quick. Where is this? Let me see if I can find this. Did they drop it? Hold on. This is a funny. Let's see this at. Let's see if we can find this real quick. And I'm gonna pull up the poll in a moment. Let me check out the poll. Okay, so we got 75% saying no at this time, and 27% say yes. Okay. Jenna says, keeping her there is bad business. I got a few chicas in Cartagena who got men in New York and DC, New York guys. Tricks, bro. Sending her money every month. Like I said, I need to, as soon as you say New York and DC, I didn't even have to finish the sentence, James. I didn't finish the sentence. Sending her money every month, paying her rent. When I go, I have a free place to stay and smash. Okay. Let me read that one more time so I can make sure I can adjust that. Keeping her there is bad business. I got a few chickens in Cartagena who got men in New York and DC, sending her money every month, paying her rent. When I go, I have a free place to stay and smash. So what he's basically saying is he's staying at the place that these New York and DC guys are paying for free out there in Cartagena. Okay? Shout out to my New York cats. I know all y'all know. Shout out to my New York cats. People be getting on me about jumping on the New York dudes. It's not Mississippi dudes are some hella sims too. You got cats in the South that's hella slippery. All right. But my players, ATL and California guys. My LA, my Atlanta guys, Houston guys, California guys, we on a different level. I'm just saying. All right. TL says, even if you come every month for 5, 6, 7 days, it's still not real. What about the other 24 days in the month? All right. Deal says, vet her and her people good, take the risk, and bring her back. Now the American Express says, look, during my Air Force days, so many pilots would deploy just to have their Filipino wives cheat with U.S. enlisted men. All right. You guys are adamant about this. It says, look, if you must wipe her up, please don't do it in the USA. Okay. Hold on. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Hold on. All right, hold on, family. Let me drop one of these images down. All right. All right, so hold on, let me see where you're at. Let me remove this image. I got you. I got all this. So this is actually AI creation. All right. This is supposed to be the same woman. This is technically the same woman. This is her when you leave them in their home country. This is them. This is them 5 years later. All right. It's supposed to be saying it's like a different woman, but AI did this. Okay. Big difference. You see the nose rings, you see the tattoos, you see the loss in melanin. All right. This is AI saying this now. This is the probability of this happening. Somebody say AI is cold-blooded with it. Right. Right. This is AI saying this. This is saying what could happen, the probability, a large percentage of what would happen to you if you bring them back to the States. Okay? Within a 5-year time period. Because of our American culture. Because of the women that will be surrounding her now, her new circle. All right? She went from friendly to angry, purple-haired feminist, just like that. Okay? Speaking of the DR, I want to play this video real quick. This is really interesting to me. This is really interesting. We'll get back to the subject at hand in a moment. I just thought this was so. I'm so tired of hearing about this bullshit. All right. Dominicans, man. Shout out to my Dominicans. I got pretty Dominican friends, but shout out to them. I'm so tired of hearing this bullshit. Let's see what she has.
And este video no tiene que ver nada con ejercicio. I don't know whether to make this video in Spanish or English, Spanglish, whatever. I just want the message to get across. I don't usually spend my time in comments and just like doing the whole Twitter fingers, TikTok nonsense that y'all be doing. But as an
I see the video. Make sure y'all guys can see it. Let me hit one. Sometimes you guys can't see the video. Let me know if you guys see the video. Do me a favor, just hit one if you can see the video.
Afro-Latina, as a Black Dominican American, as a first generation, very Black presenting Latina woman, I have always identified as Black. Obviously, as a Black person, you cannot now identify as Black because that's just delusional. But I've always recognized that I'm very bicultural. I'm very American, and I'm also very Latina, and I'm very also just like me, very Afro-Latina. And it just seems like in this TikTok world, a lot of African Americans just want to troll Dominicans just for being Dominican. Like, if you identify as Black, it's like, oh, you know, she's trying to be different because she's always speaking Spanish and trying to like seem different or whatever. Like, she's Black, but she's not like really Black. So when you do identify as Black, then you're not Black enough, or then like you're like Black trying to be different. Make it make sense. And then if you are a white passing Dominican, because that's very much so the case, a lot of people are white passing.
I've never seen a white passing Dominican. I've never, in the history of being in the DR, I've been in the DR so many times I can't even count. I lived in the DR for quite some time. I've never seen a white passing Dominican.
Very miscegenated looking, right? Very mixed looking.
That's a big difference between looking mixed and being white passing.
And it's like you're denying your Blackness, because as soon as you do identify as Black, people want to qualify your Blackness and then be like, you're not Black, you cannot co-opt this identity, you cannot, So then like, I'm not Black, then I'm Dominican, because at this point is like, y'all want to define the terms, and y'all meaning whoever has a problem with Dominicans, because at this point,
nobody has a problem with Dominicans. Nobody cares. Okay? Nobody, Black Americans are not sitting back at dinner table talking about Dominicans. We're not. I get so tired of seeing this shit. All right. It was even confusing to me living in DR. And I was talking to, the lady I was talking to, and I said in Spanish, what did I say? No te gusta negro peligroso. Like, you don't like black pens because she was writing a document for me in like green or purple. So I basically said in Spanish, what's up? You don't like the black pens or something like that? Like, this is the document. You can't write in pink and purple. And she thought I said that she was black. So she said, I'm not a nigger. You are. I'm Dominican. Okay. Now keep in mind, the girl was maybe about 2-3 shades lighter than her. She was light skinned. But we were supposed to be, courting at the time when she said this. And I was just like, what she said? I was a nigger. Like, what? Why did you say the ER? Like, are you serious? And she said, oh, you said black pen. And I'm like, yeah, I said black pen. And it just hit me. It just threw me so off. Like, I'm like, why did you say the N-word like that? Why did you say it like a racist white person? And I'm like, you do realize that you're not white. Your skin is white skin, but you're not white. Like, nobody's going to confuse you as white when you get to America. They're going to think you're just a light-skinned black person. So it's just interesting to me because they always go to that, I'm Dominican, that's your nationality, that's not your ethnic group. But they're more confused than us. We just think it's funny. So it's joking. We're joking with you, right? When we see a woman, and this is in Colombia too. I remember going to dinner with an Afro-Colombian chick that could be my sister. All right, she looks my complexion, just phenotypically black. And we was having a conversation, and she's mixed. She's a mixed Colombian woman, indigenous Colombian, meaning native Colombian, and black. Her dad was like black, dark skinned black. But she came out looking like me. Like I said, she could be my sister. And she said she's not black. And I understood it. I said, I get it. You're mixed. But when you go to America, you like an average black woman. That's what they're going to consider you no matter what you say. Right? And I understand that you identify as Afro-Latino in Colombia. I get it. But that's your nationality. That's the look. We get it, but at the same time, we don't care. We just think it's funny. So we think we're trolling, and most of the guys don't. We don't give a fuck. All right, but it's just hilarious to me that they think that we're just so focused on us calling them black, and if we say they black, they don't feel like they really. We say that they're not really black. It's just confusing. It's like we don't care. Okay, we're not discussing this at a dinner table. Like, we get it. Hold on to that Latino culture, Spanish culture. You speak Spanish, right? You dance Spanish. We get it. It's okay for you to hold on to your culture. It's even okay for you to delineate and say, hey, I'm not Black American. I'm not FBA. I'm Dominican. And we totally get that. We just saying, when the white folk come, they're going to look at you and they're going to look at me. They're going to see two black people. Period. There is no such thing as a white passing Dominican. All that means is a light-skinned motherfucker. That's all that means. Okay? And it's just funny to me that you see what's happening currently in the United States, and black people just kind of sitting back like, yeah, we kind of told you this, but hey, you know what I'm saying? We kind of told you, but we just gonna let y'all have it. So it is what it is. It is what it is, man. You got a lot of confusion out there in those Caribbean islands. They're a little color shocked out. They really are. They really are. But at the same time, Dominican culture is dope. I got many Dominican friends. The guys don't necessarily think like that. They already know what's up. The women, they have like a color complex and stuff like that in some cases. So I just thought that was interesting. All right. All right. Frank Smith says, enjoy your trips and the interactions abroad. Don't bring them back here. Romeo says, Dominicans are Israelites from the tribe of Simeon. Unfortunately, the colonization and generations of whitewashing has taken a huge toll on my people. You know what's interesting, man? I took her to the museum. Not museum. What's that shit called? Damn it. Falon. What's it called, Romeo? It's Christopher Columbus grave site, supposedly. It's like a massive museum out there. Something for Rome or something. It's supposed to be Christopher Columbus grave site. It's a big, massive building. I did a whole video. All right, I did a whole video about it. If I had one, I would show it. All right. And they kind of know. They, a lot of Dominicans know the history. They know what happened. They're not oblivious to what happened with Christopher Columbus reaching the Caribbean. Why they have? Yeah, there you go, Cristobal Colon. Yeah. Matter of fact, let me see if I can show it. Let me see if I can find that video. Let me see if I can pull it. I might. There we go. Hey, what up, J. Clyde? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Brad Jones. You're absolutely right. Brandon Clark says, "I ain't bringing her back to the States, BMT. I'm just not going to do it. Life is good overseas anyway. Shout out to the chat, the Facebook group, and the app. Shout out to you, J. Clyde. I think you might want to speak on this, man. You ain't got to cam up if you don't want to. If you want to pull up, J. Clyde, you're welcome to pull up too, because you don't got to cam up. You the OG. You the OG in the space, big dog. So you ain't got to cam up if you want to pull up and say something. Speak on it, brother. You're welcome to." Did I just disconnect my camera? What's going on with my camera, man? Hold on. Here we go. All right, here we back, family. Sorry about that. On Trackman says the only black people that I keep hearing that they are not black are from DR. They did not say that in Colombia. You're right. Colombia has a pretty distinct Afro culture, especially out there in Choco. They know who they are. I'm just saying for this particular woman that I was on a date with, she was actually mixed. Okay, she was mixed, so she didn't want to be considered to be black, even though she looked like a regular black girl. I said she could have been my sister or something like that. So her mom was actually an indigenous Colombian, and her dad was black Colombian, Afro Colombian. But generally speaking, you are right. That's not a big thing out there in Colombia like that. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. When you see Colombia's grave site, you're gonna be like, "What the? Why they do all this for him?" All right, hold on. I might have to clip, but do I actually have a video? Let's see if I can find an actual video. It was in San Domingo. I don't know if I can actually find an actual video. Okay, I might just have to. Oh, okay, I'm looking for the video of the zona. I really want to show this how big it is, man. I know I saved this video somewhere. Hold on. Like the grave site for Columbus is just they really did it up for that dude. And was he Italian or Spanish? Because I'm trying to think, why the hell would they give this dude like a multi-million-dollar museum in the DR? Where is that video? I'm pretty sure it's on his hard drive. Let me see. You know what, fam? Okay, here we go. Farrah Cologne. Here we go. I knew I had it somewhere. I'm trying to find the exact clip. I think I did it with my phone. Okay. And hold on. All right, so that's I'm just showing the raw footage right there. But when I say they detailed the hell out this building, man. Hola. All right.
There's a person there? Yeah. ¿Cuánto es?
100 pesos por persona.
You pay?
He was a Jewish Spaniard, Christopher Columbus. How much is it?
100.
Okay, I'm trying to show the actual building inside.
Guys, you're gonna buy these tickets right here.
All right,
it's
yeah,
like
that's it right there.
100 a piece.
200.
It's like $2-3 or something.
200 pesos. Oh my God, this is so cool.
So that's supposedly right there. Is supposedly Christopher Columbus' grave. Supposedly. Apparently, they say his bones are not actually in there, but then they say his bones are in there. Somebody need to raid that joint for real. So yeah, that's his grave site right there.
All right, so apparently Christopher Columbus' dead body lies here somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, it's on Spain. In Spain, he died on Spain. But his body is here.
Right.
Right there in the black box. Right there.
That's his body?
His body is inside out. So.
Yeah, so it's all in this marble casing, and the building is huge. Let me see if I can find it outside the building. The building is really big. Hold on. I got hey Rollo, can you cam up for me, bro? Let me see who's who. Let me do me a favor and cam up for me. All right. Let's see.
And hold on.
Oh, that's the same clip. But yeah, I'm trying to show you guys the scope of the actual building. It's really big. Hold on. I'm trying to show the actual. I don't know if we can show the actual.
Yeah, that's like me going to your house saying I discovered your house. Like it's my house.
Yeah.
This don't make any sense.
That's why we say he stole our money. He
Right.
stole our culture. He stole what else? Like everything.
Yeah, he did.
From us. The gold.
The gold, people, yeah.
He destroyed everything. Even he came with African people, he destroyed them.
Yeah.
So
And this is where he is at right here.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be here. He needs to be helped.
Right. But they built this for him.
Yeah, they built this ship for a person that doesn't even deserve it. He doesn't deserve this. But people.
Hola.
Hola.
So yeah, we visited here just to kind of see it, but
Yeah, but we don't.
yeah, we don't condone his actions whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know what that mean?
Yeah. Did you see the video? It is what it is.
I haven't seen the video, no.
Yeah, I watched it. It is what it is.
All right, so Frank Smith says most Dominican lineage is European conquistador paternal lineage and Negro maternal lineage. They are mixed. All right. Okay. Brad Jones said Dominicans aren't black. We never claimed them to be black, bro. We just said they look like black people. That if they come to America, they be said to be black. Black people stop trying to claim them. We're not claiming them at all. All right. Dominicans grew up listening to Willie Garcia, Joe Ario, and Celestia Mendoza, not Ray Roy Ayers, Isley Brothers, or SOS Band. Damn. I mean, how old is Brad Jones? God damn. Well, they listen to it all now. All right. I had somebody in the back end, they dropped off. Dudes don't be wanting to cam up, man, but hell, I get it. You know, you want to come on here and talk shit, but the Globe Bender says, I can care less what they consider themselves. They can be Dominican and not identify as black, not my fight. All right. All right, let's tap into the end of the poll. Let's see. We got 75% say no, 25% say yes. All right. Should passport bring the women back to the USA? 75% say no, 25% says yes. All right. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Another classic show, man. We are out of here. Peace.